Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So today's program is actually dedicated to International Women's Day. So International Women's Day is quite an important day. It's a day where people will celebrate the accomplishments of women, the kind of things they've done for society. Now, obviously, the world is split 50-50. There are males and there are females. But having said that, a lot of the times we don't celebrate the kind of things that women do, and we keep celebrating the kind of accomplishments that men do. So this is a special program dedicated to our women, our Sikh women who have done amazing things in the past couple of years, the kind of things that our Sikh history teaches us, and the kind of things that our women have done in Sikh history. So in this program, we'll kind of be going on a historical journey. We'll be talking about Sikh women before Sikhi was actually created, what women were like before Sikhi was created, what were the kind of rights that they were getting then. Then moving forward into where Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj came on this planet, and the kind of stuff that they incorporated with the rest of the Das Gurus. Then moving forward into actually, you know, the times of Shidiyan, the kind of roles that women played in that. And then finally, we'll be talking about actually the issues that we have in our Panth at the moment and how we can resolve those regarding to women. So starting off with kind of a history lesson. So before Guru Nanak Sahib came onto this planet, the society was more patriarchal than we think it is now. So at the moment, even I consider this society to be quite patriarchal. But having said that, before Guru Nanak Sahib's time, there was no idea of women's rights. Women were treated absolutely horrendously. Like, the kind of stuff I'm talking about is when a woman gave birth to a child, they were then locked up in their room for a certain amount of days, and they weren't allowed to leave that room. And they were treated like, they were literally treated like trash for that time, because they were considered dirty and impure for that time. So and then obviously we had the ceremony of sati, where women were burnt along with their dead husband, because, you know, women didn't have a right to live after that according to that society. So this is the kind of life that women were living at the time. When Guru Nanak Sahib came onto this planet, they challenged this idea from a very young age. And they challenged this idea through many different ways. Whether it was actually doing physical prachar, whether it was writing Gurbani, whether it was actually challenging people, asking them about this kind of stuff. Babar was called a Jabar because of the way he was treating both men and women. So Guru Nanak Sahib was what we could consider a feminist, because even in their Bani they wrote, So kyo manda akiya jit jammai rajan, that how can you call this person bad? How can you call a woman bad when they're the one from which kings are born? So this is an idea that we sometimes struggle with in our Panth. Unfortunately, the Khalsa Panth isn't the same as it used to be. We are moving backwards instead of moving forwards, and we're forgetting the kind of things Guru Sahib has taught us. So this is a wake-up call to my brothers, and this is also a tarnavad to my sisters that are, you know, working hard and they're doing what they can. But this is also, again, a humble beinti to everyone as well, because this is the kind of video that I just want to kind of get out there, just to teach people and also try and make people turn into what Guru Sahib had asked us to do. Again, basic prachar. So now, if we look at what's considered the first Sikh, Pehla Sikh kaun siga? People consider, and even scholars agree with this, that Bibi Nanaki Ji was considered the first Sikh. Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj's sister was considered the first Sikh. Why? Because they were the first person to actually realize that Guru Nanak Sahib was someone different. They weren't just this child who was talking these amazing things. They were someone who was actually literally God on this planet. So Bibi Nanaki Ji was considered as the first Sikh. Fast forward a few years to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. Their wife Mata Khivi Ji was considered the pioneer of a soup kitchen. So a soup kitchen that we have nowadays is for the poor, the needy, and it's the idea of you know, giving out free food to these people and bringing the food to them. So Mata Khivi Ji as well as the normal langar that used to go on in Gurdwara, Mata Khivi ji would also go out with a band of Sikhs, and she would actually give langar to people who were like in their way. So people who were, you know, going along on journeys, people who were traveling from different places, people who were poor, people who were needy, she was giving them langar. So it was active seva. And that's the kind of ideas that our women have put into Sikhi. If we look a bit forward to Bibi Panni ji, Guru Amar Das ji Maharaj's daughter, who was also Guru Ram Das ji's wife. If we look at Bibi Panni ji, I'm sure you've all heard this Sakhi, where Bibi Panni ji was actually helping Guru Amar Das ji Maharaj having a Ishnan, and then when the Thara that Maharaj was sat on, when that broke, when the stool broke, Bibi Panni ji actually put a foot there to protect it. And at that moment, Guru Amar Das ji said to her that ask for what you want to. And it was at that moment when Bibi Panni ji actually said that I want the Gurgaddi to remain in this Sodhi Parvar. And if it hadn't have remained in the Sodhi Parvar, we might have not have actually got Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Obviously, Paramatma ne jehdi khed rachauni si, wo ta rachai. But again, we're trying to celebrate what our Sikh women have done. And you know, if we look even further, there's so many examples I can give. If we look even further to Mata Gujar Kaur ji. Mata Gujar Kaur ji was what we could call a model woman. Someone who literally put forward general ideas of feminism and pushed it into the Panth. Now, you may be asking why. Well, let's look into how Mata Gujar Kaur ji's life actually went through. After she got married to Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, Guru Tegh Bahadur ji actually went into tapasya. So for many years, Mata Gujar Kaur ji never even saw Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. But yet they still carried on doing Sikh Prachar. They still carried on doing Gurmat Prachar in their own way. Whether it was giving out langar, whether it was actually going up to people, telling them about Sikhi, risking again Sarkar problems and stuff. Then when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created the Khalsa Panth, she was one of the first people to get up and take Amrit after the Panj Pyare had. Again, trying to push forward that value that Amrit isn't just for males, Amrit is also for females as well. Going even forward, she was the one who prepared the Shote Sahibzade for their Shahadat. She was the one who let them go, and she said, you know what, you guys will give a Shahadat that everyone will remember. And she taught them how to be strong, just like her husband was, just like how Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj was. When Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj gave their cease in Chandni Chowk in Delhi. So we have this kind of teacher element as well, this kind of mentor element. Now, if we look even further, Mata Sahib Kaur, the mother of the Khalsa, Mata Sahib Kaur is considered as one of the most amazing Sikhs who's ever lived, because even before she was married to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Mata Sahib Kaur was considered as one of the greatest Sikhs because she continued doing seva all her life. She fought in jungs when she needed to, but she also did seva. And there are some Nihang Singh Jathebandis that are still named after Mata Sahib Kaur. And so that's the kind of legacy that Mata Sahib Kaur led. Then obviously the most famous Sikh woman, Mata Pag Kaur ji. When she led the Charli Mukte into that jung, it was a woman, probably one of the most unseen things that you would have ever expected. A woman leading a battalion of men to fight. And not just that, winning that jung, and then she went on to become Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's personal bodyguard as well. So that's the kind of legacy that our Sikh women have left for us. And you know, these great Matama Perna that have literally done so much seva in our Panth as well. We can't give that asan for them either. We can't give that sacrifice for them. Now, let's look into it even further. Almost every Shaheed Singh had a great mother, because they instilled those values into the Sikhs at the time. They instilled those values of giving qurbani, of sacrificing, of remaining in this Khalsa roop that we have. And you know, maybe if our Sikhs were more into Sikhi, then we wouldn't have these kind of problems in our Panth that we're having now. Because nowadays, we have these issues as well. These issues are starting to creep back into the Panth where women are treated badly. And I don't want to be someone who is talking about that, but unfortunately it is the case. So these are kind of the wake-up calls as well that I'm trying to give to people. Now, what else can we look at? We can look at in Ardas, women are mentioned. That जिन्ना मावां दे टोटे करके बच्चियां दे हार पवाए, where mothers would literally sat in front of Mir Manu, and in front of Mir Manu Mir Manu said to them that you give up Sikhi, otherwise your child will be tossed onto this nija, a spear. Babies, we're talking about literal babies. And they said, nahi appa kal kita, di Sikhi nahi appa chhad sakde. We can't leave that Khalsa roop that Guru Sahib has given us. And even at that time, even when they were in that kind of saroop, they follow this idea of Sikhi kesa swaswa sang nibhauna. And you know, that's the kind of representation of the Khalsa. That's the kind of representation of the Khalsa. That it wasn't just the men that gave these kind of shahidiyan. Our Sikh mothers, our Sikh sisters were given these kind of shahidiyan daily. Because they weren't just sacrificing themselves, they were sacrificing their own sons, they were sacrificing their brothers, they were sacrificing their husbands. So they were losing family as well. So they weren't just losing themselves, they were losing their families as well. And you know, we cannot live up to the greatness of those Sikh mothers that did things like that. Let's look into it further. You know, sometimes if we talk about Charasi, the kind of things that happened in 1984, there were Sikh women who joined the Parkour Lair. There were Sikh women who fought in the Parkour Lair. If we look at Maharaja Dalip Singh Ji's family, Sophia Dalip Singh, who is considered as one of the main leaders of the suffragette movement, because she, even though when she realized that she was meant to be a princess of Punjab, and she realized the kind of heritage that there was in Punjab, she became as one of the most vocal and one of the most well-known freedom fighters from the Sikh faith. Even now, we have Sikhs in the army who are women, that are Dastar-tari, that are Amritari, and that's absolutely amazing. Why? Because they're following that Khalsa rule, they're keeping with their Rath, and then they're also living that Sikhi life. Because women, just like men, there's a balance that the Khalsa Panth strikes, and unfortunately this is a balance that we still cannot get right. We have a balance of people who are amazing Amritari Singhs, and they're amazing people, and this is both men and women. But then we also have a strike of a balance of people who aren't Amritari, who are maybe Monne or they're Sajdari, but they're still good people. But let's try and strike that balance of everyone being a Sikh, everyone being a Gaur Sikh, everyone being Amritari and still being good people, still being on Uche Rutve. Because when we get to that point, fir lokan ne kehna that that's the Sikh Panth. There's also another Sakhi that we can go into, but the details are very vague. But the ideas behind it was that a Mughal Pathans found out that there was a band of women living in this little pind, and it was a vyada mahal. The men were all out, and the women found out that the Mughals were going to attack. And instead of crying for the men, instead of waiting for the men, they said, you know what, no, we're going to fight. We don't care, we will still fight. So what happened is that there were some women stationed up on trees. There were some women stationed inside houses with talwara. There were some women in the trees with a batte and rode. And the moment the Mughals charged in, the women from the top were shooting arrows. They were throwing rocks. They were throwing bricks. And the ones that were able to get inside houses, they were cut down by the Singhis talwara. And when the Mughals that ran away, when they tried to run away and they tried to get away, when they went back to their Pathan Faujdar And the Faujadar said, "Tusi badi kut khadi hai. You've been knocked out quite a bit. What happened?" And then they had to say, "Well, you know, this happened." And us Faujadar ne puchya ki kinne bande sige? How many men were there? And Sipahi likhda that we weren't beaten by men. There weren't any men there. And they asked him, "So how are you beaten that badly? How is it that half of the Fauj is dead?" And the Sipahi had to say, "Well, there were women there. And those women were even stronger than we fought the men before. How do you expect us to fight a qawm where the women are stronger than the men, where they have more jigra than the men do?" And so that's the kind of legacy that our Sikh women have left for us. Now, unfortunately, it is a problem in our Panth where both men and women are leaving Sikhi. So this is a beinti as well to everyone that, you know, if you want to live in that kind of legacy, because I've seen it's kind of, how can I put it? It's kind of cynical that I've seen certain posts by people who are, you know, saying that, oh, you know, women aren't treated right, women aren't this, women aren't that in the Khalsa Panth, and they use the word the Khalsa Panth. The Khalsa Panth is the Panth that is of Amritaris. To be able to target the Khalsa Panth, you have to be part of the Panth first. And unfortunately, it is people who are not part of the Panth that are pointing fingers. So, beinti to everyone first, that if you are going to target the Khalsa Panth, at least be part of it first yourself. Secondly, with regarding issues, because there are some issues that are in our Panth unfortunately nowadays that people are asking. To be honest, they're quite silly questions, I'm not going to lie, because there's no specifics written about them. They're just those kind of things that some people who are trying to break the Panth apart, they're trying to pick at. So the first question that I was asked to talk about was, can women be part of the Panch Pyare? Of course they can. There's no question about that. The Sikh Rait Maryada that was agreed upon in 1927, that was written, that everyone still uses now, says that you're allowed to have women as part of the Panch Pyare. But there are certain jathebandis that will not accept that. So arguing with them is also pointless. But where you are allowed to, please do. There are some women who also say, and there's some men that say the same thing as well, that there aren't enough women parties, that women aren't given the option to, you know, learn part. Now, when I was in Santhya class, there were many women sat with me and there were many people learning. So it's just a matter of whether it's their personal thing that they don't want to go in and become a party. I didn't want to become a party. You know, some people don't want to do that. And that's fine. Jinnah ne karna, oh beshak karan. That's fine. But it is a thing that we don't have many women parties as well. So this is a beinti as well again that, you know, we're saying that, but there are many women that do know Santhya as well. There are many women that have done Santhya, but they just don't, you know, they don't do it for whatever reason. And I'm not going to bash you on that either. But I will say that let's, you know, let's try. Whoever can really become a party. It's always great. Now, the other question that was asked to me as the final question to answer was this issue about Punjabi culture. Now, I say Punjabi culture because, unfortunately, the Punjabi culture and the Sikh culture are two different things. That's something that, unfortunately, I can't drill into people's brains even though I really want to. Because people just don't listen and they don't understand it. But I am going to try and explain it. Sikh culture and Punjabi culture are two different things. Punjabi culture, talking about people in Punjab. What people in Punjab do. Punjab, if you go to Punjab now, there are more Hindus and Muslims in Punjab than there are Sikhs in Punjab. It's just a fact. There are even more Christians now in Punjab than there are Sikhs. Punjabi culture is a mix of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Buddhist, different minority religions, ideas. The Sikh culture is purely based on Gurmat. For example, the Sikh culture doesn't allow, you know, Bhangra music and stuff like that. Because the Sikh culture is built on Vara. The Sikh culture doesn't allow dancing. The Punjabi culture does. The Sikh culture doesn't allow drinking sharab, eating mas, having intoxications. But the Punjabi culture does. That's why there was this rola rappa about Heritage Street in Amritsar, because that is the street that leads up to Harmandir Sahib, where, you know, it's about Sikh heritage, and they put Punjabi heritage there instead. So that's the kind of arguments that are going on. So a lot of people are saying this whole Daj issue, this dowry issue, this issue of killing children at birth, this idea of other kind of things like that are going on. Unfortunately, they are going on. So this is a beinti to all the men first. Fix up. Seriously, fix up. Because this is the kind of stuff that is unfortunately going on, and it isn't nice, it isn't good. If you're a Sikh, you should not be asking for Daj. If you are a Sikh, you should not be trying to kill daughters at birth. And if you are doing that stuff, do not call yourself a Sikh. There's no point in you wearing a pug. There's no point in you tying a damala. There is no point in you even going to the Gurdwara. Because you go to the Gurdwara, you are a representation of the Guru. When you're in a Sikh Roop, you are the representation of the Guru. And the Guru would not accept those kind of things. So therefore, you are doing beadabi of Guru. Of our Guru, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, all our 10 Gurus, you are doing beadabi, direct beadabi of them. So that's a beinti to all the men, first of all, anyone who's watching, that je tusi Sikhya, Sikh wale kaam karo. And if you aren't Sikh and you're doing that, I would urge you as well that it's not nice. If it was on men, that men had to pay for their whole wedding, I'm sure a lot of men would struggle. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that we need to get rid of. This idea of marrying in caste, my God, I do not know when these people will get it in their brain. Marrying in caste, Sikhi has no castes. We're not the Hindu religion. We don't have castes. We don't have segregations. Nowadays, there's this thing of Amritalis marrying in Jathebandis. It's literally the silliest thing that we are doing. So again, beinti to everyone, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, don't call yourself a Sikh, please. I would much rather have Sikhs are 2% considered in India. I would much rather have Sikhs be 0.5% and be the most pakke Sikhs ever than us having loads and loads of Sikhs, 50-60% of India Sikhs, but half of them are kache. That's not the kind of Sikhi that we want. Now, this idea of killing daughters at birth, if you think a daughter is a burden, don't have a child. Because there's a 50% chance that it will come out as a daughter. Don't risk it. Because killing a woman, killing anyone at birth is atrocious. Killing a child, if you were to tell a Gora that you've killed a child, if you were to tell a white person that you've killed a child because she was a daughter, because she was a girl, they would probably throw you in prison. Because it is literal murder. It's not killing a child at birth, it is literal murder. So these are the kind of things that we need to completely get rid of out of our panth. And until they're not gone from our panth, we cannot move forward as a panth. So this is a tanvad to all our women, a big thank you to everyone really, to all our women that have, you know, contributed to the panth this year, last year, any year. Whether it was our Puratan Singhanis, whether it was the Singhanis now who are, you know, whether it's our Singhanis who are fighting for Khalistan, whether it's our Singhanis who are fighting for different rights, whether it's our Sinhalese who are, working on art, whether they're doing projects, whether they're doing gatka, whether they're doing kirtan, whatever. Big thank you to everyone. And also, if there is anyone who, might have been hurt by what I've said, please ask for forgiveness. मैं बस गुरु करदा ही हां, जो गुरु साहब ने कहवाना सी मैं तो मैं कहता. But again, these are the kind of things that, we have to get rid of out of our panth. These are the kind of things that until we don't get rid of out of our panth, people are still going to consider us as a joke. So this is really a big thank you to all the women, a wake-up call to all the men, and also a tanwad to any of the men that are actually respecting women, because that's great, and keep up the good work. Wake-up call to any of the men who are still stuck in that God knows how old society that Guru Nanak Sahib condemned. And also a big thank you again, once again, to all the women, whether it's people I know, whether it's people I don't know, all of my brothers, all of my sisters that are contributing to the Akaal Takht Panth in any sort of way. Because the more contributors we got, the more people who are joining the Panth, the stronger the Panth gets. But as long as everyone in that Panth is pakka, we're all good. So I hope you all have all enjoyed, and I hope this was a Sachi Shraddhanjali. This is just my idea of trying to, say my part for International Women's Day. So I hope you all have all enjoyed. Pulla chukkan di khema. Please forgive me for all mistakes I've made. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh.
Akaal Channel ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ, ਨਵੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਦੀ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਲਿੱਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਣਾ।